this is a good reason not to dig around at your skin. Every time I do it, I screw myself. Hi everyone, welcome back to Pavonine Studios Beauty and Art. My name is Amy. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I have a new thing I want to try, or a couple of new things actually. For my eyes, I'm going to do a like pink and orange look today, just because I want to, and I'm wearing kind of a rust color top, so I thought that would be fun. And yesterday when I was at Ulta picking up a little bit of skincare stuff that I needed, I noticed that they had the new Urban Decay Stay Naked HydroMANIAC Tinted Glow Hydrator. And I have seen, not really reviews of this, but I've seen people talk about it some. And I was pretty interested in it. I'm always interested in something that's hydrating. I got the shade 30 Light, and I did test this last night to make sure that I had the right shade. And it's a little bit too dark, but I think it will be okay for the purposes of this video, and we'll see, you know, if it oxidizes or anything like that. For my eyes, I am going to be using the Bperfect Stacey Marie Carnaval III palette, and I've had this for a little while and I've used it a number of times. I really like it, but there's lots of pretty pink shades in here and there's some nice oranges, so I thought I would go ahead and use those colors today on my eyes. And I may pull in some kind of sparkly something or other for the lid. We will see. There's not tons of metallics and sparkles and things like that in this palette, but we'll see. Well, maybe I'll use something super exotic. So I've got my eyes primed. I'm going to scooch in and we are going to get going. Okay, so I think I am going to go into first the color Bloom, which is a really nice, super intense pink. And I am going to place that in the outer corner of my eye. I'm not doing anything like special as far as the application and, you know, shape and that kind of thing today. I'm just doing what I usually do because it makes me happy, and I seem to always like the results that I get when I put my eyeshadow on this way. But I like this color a lot. I think it's nice and intense, and if you go in with a nice intense color like this, first you're definitely going to get way more bang for your buck. I almost forgot again today to turn on my mic. I have got to be better about that. I'm going to take a clean, fluffier brush and I'm just going to go around the edges just a little bit, just to sort of soften those up. And I will add in more colors, more blending. But we'll go ahead and start blending this. I'm going to pick up a little bit more of that color. Just kind of pack that on in that outer corner again. I'm going to take the shade Pink Lily, which is a really, really bright pink, and the color Lilac, which is lilac color, and I'm going to kind of mix those together because neither one is quite what I want, and so I'm going to try mixing them together and see what I get here. That's very bright. I like it. I'm going to take the shade Grape, which is grape colored. I actually kind of like that the shades in this palette are like sensible. Okay, so this is what I mean by wanting your darkest color first. You can't tell that I did anything. Now, I don't necessarily think that that's like a defect in the eyeshadows. It's almost more like you need to know kind of what you're aiming for from the beginning. I'm going to try another color. I'm going to try Chili Pepper. And I'm going to put a little bit of that in the corner. Tonally speaking, Chili Pepper and Bloom are very similar, and so you're not going to see a lot of difference between the two colors when you put them on your eyes, especially when they're layered like this. But I wanted just a little bit more darkness out there. I'm going to take a little bit of the shade Black Beach, and I'm going to put a little bit of that out here. I'm going to switch brushes, I think. Just pick up something a little bit smaller and a little bit more focused. I don't want to get too heavy-handed with the black in the, like in the crease and stuff. I'm going to go into the color Cocoa. And I'm just focusing that right in that crease. Now that I've got a little bit of black on there, I think I'm going to go once more into the color Bloom. And we're going to do that in that outer corner. So this, I've not used a lot of these pink shades in here. And honestly, they're not, right now, they're not performing like, you know, the best eyeshadows in the world or anything. Nevertheless, we are going to persevere, and this look will all come together. I'm sure of it. So I'm just taking that fluffy brush that I used a little bit earlier, and I'm just blending some more in that upper crease area. I think I'm going to take a little bit more primer on a flat shader brush, and I am going to put some of that basically on the inside here where I want that orange color to be. So we're doing kind of a cut crease thing here, not super, you know, precise or anything like that, but I do want to have like a nice sort of clean canvas to put some orange down on. Okay, I'm going to take that same brush, just flip it over to the more clean side, if you will, and pick up the shade. I think I'm going to go big. I'm going to go into this shade Sundown. You will notice that I am not floofing this on with a fluffy brush. I'm using a flat brush, and I'm just packing it on, patting it into place. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do next is find something to go on the, like the center part of my eye to kind of blend, not blend, melt those two colors together, that dark pink and that orange, and, you know, bring this look to life. Okay guys, I have decided that I'm going to use the Danessa Myricks Color Fix, and this is in the shade Venus, and it is a really pretty color, and I've squeezed a little bit out onto my hand. It's kind of like a liquid jelly multi-chrome situation here, and I'm going to try this, see what this looks like on my lid. I'm going to focus that in the center. Okay, so that line of demarcation between the Danessa Myricks and that orange color especially is a little bit more harsh than I want. So I'm just going to take a little bit more of that Sundown color and I'm just going to pat that right over the very edge of that shimmery color. My goal here is to not obliterate the shimmer color, but to just add a little bit of the orange over the top of it, just to bring those together a little bit. There's something about this, like the outer corner, that I'm not loving. Let's put a little magenta out there. I almost wish I hadn't have gone in with that black shade. I'm going to take a little bit of the color Fruity. I'm just going to put that right over where I put that black color, because that's not really ringing my bell, and I'm hoping to kind of tone that down a little bit. Okay, what do we think? Not sure how I feel about this look. Definitely not my best effort, but that's okay. All right, let me see here. Clean up more fallout. And like I've said before, you know, if fallout bothers you, do your eyes first. I think that's gonna do for the moment. Like I say, this is not maybe not my best effort, but we're gonna go with it. Because I used a wipe to get rid of that fallout, I am going to put on a little bit more moisturizer. I had already prepped my skin and stuff, and I'm always pretty careful with how ham I go with the wipes. So I'm just going to press in a little bit extra. And let's go ahead and do some sunscreen. I'm just going to use the CeraVe sunscreen, which I've used 100 million times on my channel. And it's not particularly sunny today, but you know, we actually are supposed to have a little bit of sun tomorrow here in Seattle in January. That's some good news. So this is a sunscreen that I use often. It has a little bit of a tint to it, not a ton, but it's definitely something that you could wear on its own if you wanted to, you know, run out and not put any makeup on or anything like that. But if this foundation doesn't work well over the kind of sunscreens and stuff that I use, and I use that one and I use the Josie Maran one, so if things don't look good over those sunscreens, then you know, that's kind of a deal breaker for me, because I like those and I don't want to have to go get a bunch of different sunscreens just to try to make some foundation work. I already know that this sunscreen and the other one too work well under a lot of my foundations, and so you know, if it doesn't work under this one, that may be an issue. We'll see how dewy, hydrating, whatever this is, and yeah. So I'm gonna let that sink into my face just a little bit, go make another coffee like I always do. I will come back and we will move on to the face. I'll be right back, guys. All right, so we are going to break into this new foundation. This is in a tube and pretty packaging. I like the blue, and it is like a little squeezy tube, and I am going to put this on like I do most things. I squeeze or pump or whatever a little bit on the back of my hand. That's maybe too much. And then I put it on with a brush and I go over it with a sponge. I should tell you also that my skin is pretty normal. Tends to be a little dry on occasion, but in general I would say it's normal to dry. So this is not a bad color for me as far as I can tell. This is supposed to have medium coverage, so we'll see if it, you know, how it covers up that little party crasher there on my face. I don't know how buildable this is, so we'll find that out. Doesn't say anything about it being buildable, I don't think. It does not. So I would say, I did take out too much there. So if you don't want to waste product, take a little bit out and then take more if you need it. I always take quite a bit of time pushing the foundation into my skin, blending. I try not to do a lot of like buffing because that tends to like lift up any like flakes or anything like that if you have drier skin. If you have super oily skin and you don't like shine, I don't know if this one will be for you. I might be able to tell a little bit better later today when I come back for a check-in. All right, let's bounce over that with a sponge. I have a clean sponge here, clean damp sponge. And I'm mostly interested in going over this in the center of my face where things can look a little bit heavy if they're going to. I would say that this is definitely a medium. It didn't fully cover up that little spot there. Let's take a little tiny bit more, put some right there over that little boo-boo that I have. This is a good reason not to dig around at your skin. Every time I do it, I screw myself. So don't do that, people. I know you want to. Most of the time I resist, but for whatever reason the other day I was like, come here, you little fucker, I'm gonna get you out. But I didn't actually, and I just made it worse. So there you go. Okay. Pretty glow. Let me have a look closer. Okay, it's not the best thing I've ever seen on my nose, but in general, it's not too bad. I think I will go ahead and powder this a little bit, especially in the center of my face. I don't mind the glow on the outer part, but I don't really want like a shiny T-zone. We're not gonna go crazy because I don't like my skin with a lot of powder on it. So this is just my usual powder. This is the Bare Minerals Mineral Veil. And I'm just going to put that, we'll start in the T-zone. We'll see if I feel like I need to get a little bit more. I do like the glow that this has. Do I feel like it's too much? Before I powder anymore, I am going to put on a little bit of concealer. This is just my Giorgio Armani one. Just gonna powder a little bit under my eyes with my NARS Crystal Powder. One thing I want to note about that Danessa Myricks Color Fix product, all of them, not just the one that I use today, is that they don't go on well. They do go on well, but they don't look very good if you apply them too thick. They can look a little like they might crack or something like that. So if you use these products, just keep that in mind. So I'm just going to powder the rest of my face a little bit. Okay, I'm going to breeze through my bronzer and my blush and my highlight and all that stuff. And when I come back, I will finish up with my lips. I have a couple of new lip liners that I want to try. They're new to me. They're not new by any stretch of the imagination. Okay, let's see. I've got my bronzer, my blush, my highlight. I did my brows. So I picked up the L'Oreal Color Riche Matte lip liner in the shades Matting Call, Har Har, and Matt's It, I believe. Yes. That's the two shades. I think I'm gonna go with Matting Call. Who thinks this shit up? Seriously. So that's a pretty warm nude, which is okay because I think today I'm going to do a little bit more of a, not a warm, but not my usual cool tone. So this is something that you can't get anymore, and I'm not sure exactly what like its replacement is, but this is one of the Ulta lipsticks, and this is the shade 224. And I really like this shade. I like Ulta's lipsticks in general. This is from when before they repackaged their things. So their new packaging looks looks more like this. So this is Dusty Mauve. This is a color that I use a lot as well. And I actually have one of these in a little bit more of a warm nude, but for some reason I can't locate it. So we're going in with that one. That's not quite as warm as I was wanting, but that's okay. We are going to go over it with a gloss. Let me find a gloss. All right, I know what I'm gonna do. I picked this up the other day at TJ Maxx and it was on sale. This is obviously ABH's product, and this is a lip gloss vault type of thing. And I don't know when this is from. I'm guessing maybe Mother's Day or something like that. But there's the colors. This was like $32 or something like that. And these are full size. So I was like, yes, please, those are going to be mine. So I think I'm going to go into, this is the color Nude Peach. So I totally could have gone in with that instead of putting that lipstick in. That's got a lot of pigment. That's a pretty color. I'm kind of growing to like the peachier shades a little bit more than I used to. Those are nice lip glosses. Definitely, if you have a TJ Maxx close to you, go look for those. I might have to go back and buy another one because those are really pretty colors. There's not anything in this collection that I won't wear except for maybe this one right here, which is like a sort of a fuchsia color. So I'm going to take that same orange that I used on my lid, which was Sundown, and I'm just using a little pencil brush. And we're going to put that right under the eyeball. Meet it up with that liner. And let me tell you, I had a time doing my wing today. I was going to use, I can't find my Urban Decay Perversion liner. It's here somewhere. It's probably in one of my brush containers and I just can't see it. And so I was trying like 6 things to get it to work. I wanted to, and then I thought, okay, I'm going to use my Inglot liner and my Duraline. And I can't find my Inglot liner. It's here somewhere too. And so I used the Maybelline, what is this? The Maybelline Eye Studio gel liner. I don't even know if they still make that anymore. Anyway, I'm like, this is kind of okay, it's old, so maybe it's not the product itself, but I'm like, this is kind of crappy. You guys should see the state of my vanity here. No, you shouldn't see it, but you get my drift. Okay, I'm going to go into the shade. Let's do yellow. I'm going to put that right in that inner quarter. This is a matte. This is not a shimmer color. I really do like this palette. And in general, I like the way my eyes turned out. But in the future, I think I won't count on it to be like these pinks can go in the outer corner and be as dark as I want them. I'm not saying that I won't use them that way, just that I know a little bit better now how they perform, how they layer and stuff. I think I've done everything. I want to try that Velour Lashes lash adhesive. And this is a nice size tube. So, and I believe it was $12. Okay, so while we wait for my lash glue to dry, thoughts on this foundation. Right now, I feel like it looks a little textured. My skin does. I don't hate it. I want to see how it like wears, how it sinks in. It's definitely a medium coverage, so if you have a ton of things to cover up, I don't know if this is going to be enough for you. I can still see obviously my little friend there, and I can still see like the like sun damage and stuff that I have on my skin peeking through, which I'm okay with. It's not that I need to cover up every single thing, you know, on my face. I don't need that. I understand that there are people out there that they've got stuff that they want to cover up, and I do too, and so, you know, I get it. I just don't think that this particular foundation would be something that you would enjoy if you do feel like you have a lot of things to cover up. I always put my lashes on in the middle first. And then the inside and then the outside. That's just what works best for me. Some people put them on with their fingers and stuff. I can't ever seem to do that, so I always use tweezers. Okay, while I'm waiting for that lash to dry down a little bit, I'm going to go in with my e.l.f. Peach Bellini. Let's put a little lower lash mascara on. If I want to use a liner on my lower lash line, I'm thinking I might go in with this color here called Punch. I will definitely come back in a couple of hours or at the end of the day or whatever I can manage to fit in and let you know how this foundation is looking, how it's wearing. All right, guys, I'm going to stop here and I will see you in a little while for a check-in. Hi guys, I'm back to do my check-in for the Urban Decay hydrating foundation that I put on this morning. I have had this foundation on for about 10 or 10 and a half hours. I'm not sure exactly how long because I don't know what time it is, but it's been on for over 10 hours. And I like this foundation. It's definitely more of a glowy foundation. I don't think that I got particularly oily or anything like that. I did wear a mask for about 45 minutes today when I went to the grocery store. It is not transfer proof, I will say that. So, you know, if you're looking for something that will wear well under a mask all day, I don't think this is the one. That being said, I think that this is a very pretty foundation. It's definitely not a full coverage foundation. I can still see freckles and sunspots and things like that peeking through on my skin, but it doesn't claim to be. It claims to be a medium coverage foundation, and I definitely think that that is what it is. It did settle just a tiny bit in my nose creases, which is pretty typical of a foundation, which is why I tend to go a little bit lighter on foundations in my nose area. I think that as long as you don't have a lot to cover up, as long as your skin is relatively normal and in pretty good shape, like you don't have a lot of things to cover up, especially something like acne or something, you might like this foundation quite a bit. I feel like it would be a really good put on your face and run out the door kind of foundation because it's, like I say, it's a medium coverage and it's quite a glowy foundation, and so it looks very sort of dewy and juicy and healthy. But if you've got a lot to cover up or a lot of flakes or things like that, I don't think that this probably is the foundation for you. And I'm only saying that based on the fact that it kind of clung a little bit to my little spot here that I'm waiting for it to heal. And it doesn't look horrible, but it's not, it's not an invisible thing. And it didn't cover it up entirely either. I like it. I am going to keep playing with this, keep wearing it, giving it a try, and I'm super excited about mixing it with some foundations that tend to be a little bit more dry on my skin. And I'm thinking specifically here of the La Mer foundation, which is hella expensive and does not look that great on my skin, which is, that's kind of a bummer. When you spend that much money on a foundation, you expect it to look fabulous, amazing, perfect, and it does not. But I want to try mixing this with that and see if some of the, like the marula oil and the other hydrating properties in this foundation will help that one, because I have a few foundations that are kind of like that. So if I can rescue those from, the declutter bin or whatever, then that would be fabulous. But overall, I definitely liked this foundation. I thought it was real pretty. It seemed to wear pretty well. Would it make it through 24 hours? I don't know. I will never know because I never wear my foundation for that long. But I did wear it for a pretty long time, at least a pretty long time for me. Usually 12 hours is about the max that I have makeup on in general. But I think that, it didn't seem like it wore off in any kind of strange way. So where there was wear, it seemed to do so in a nice way, in a even way, not patchy or anything like that. So that's also another pro for this foundation. I believe that this foundation is about $30 or $32. I will list the price and everything else, of course, always down below in the description box. And you do get just a little bit more than the standard fluid ounce. You get 1.1 fluid ounces or 35 mils. So that's kind of nice. You get a tiny bit more than the usual. I think I am going to leave it there for today, guys. I just wanted to pop in real quick, give you an update, and I will let you go. Don't forget to like and subscribe, ring that bell so that you are notified whenever I upload a new video, which is about 3 or 4 times a week. Ooh, and don't forget to comment. I love comments. And until my next video, bye guys.